Part 3, Chapter 11, Arcturians, Reptilians, and You. Who has reptilians? Not everyone has reptilians, and many people who do are either in denial or are reluctant to acknowledge it or talk about it. If you suspect you are one of the people who have them, I can't emphasize enough that the most powerful force available to help you with them, really the only force, is the Arcturians. They have dominion over the reptilians. I'm not aware of anyone other than the Arcturians who can remove reptilians and keep you protected from them afterward. Only about half of the people I've worked with who have demons or discarnates also have reptilians, but nearly everyone who has reptilians also has demons and or discarnates and attachments. The signs and symptoms for possession by any of these entities are very similar and were outlined in Chapter 2. The reptilians are so subtle, or maybe devious is a better way to describe them. They are not easy to single out and detect. Having a lot of nightmares or dreams that include snakes, particularly if they're large snakes, is one possible indicator they're there. And if you're experiencing recurring headaches, such as migraines, or chronic neck or shoulder problems, or skin issues, that's another sign you may have reptilians. Of course, demons can also cause all kinds of physical problems, including headaches, neck and shoulder pain, so you really won't know whether it's reptilians until a healer goes in to remove something and finds them. That can be difficult too, because the reptilians are able to put up a veil or a force field around themselves, a shield that they hide behind. If the psychic or intuitive healer or anyone else who is trying to remove the entities doesn't call in the Arcturians, they can very easily miss the reptilians. Time and time again, healers have told me, okay, we've cleared that person, we're done. They think they're finished, but they're not, because the reptilians are still there, probably along with a few more demons and discarnates too, but they weren't even aware of the reptilians. Reptilians are able to control demons, and they can shield them from view when we're trying to remove them. In my experience, the demons usually go first during a removal. But sometimes, as soon as I start to remove them, all of a sudden I can't sense them anymore. The reptilians will sacrifice some demons and try to lull me into believing the job is done, which is exactly what they did when I started working with Carl. They blocked me from sensing them and kept me from being able to tell exactly what was in him. Now I call on the Arcturians immediately to come in and neutralize the reptilians so they'll stop shielding the demons and we can get on with our work. Once the reptilians are exposed and removed, other demons and the discarnates are able to go. How do they get in? Reptilians can get into you the same way demons or discarnates do. When a single reptilian, or demon or discarnate, gets into you, the effects may be subtle enough that you don't pick up on it right away. Often, the situation gets progressively worse before you realize something keeps getting in your way. But some discarnates also have demons and reptilians in them, and they bring those other entities with them when they get into you. All of a sudden, you have a whole passel of entities to deal with. When you take on a lot of different entities at the same time, it usually hits you very hard. You're likely to notice something's amiss. Your family and friends and coworkers may notice changes in you too. Because the effects are so dramatic, you're more likely to seek help sooner, and your chances of having a positive outcome once everything has been removed are usually good. Unlike demons and discarnates, reptilians have another way to get into you besides coming in directly or piggybacking on discarnates, and that is through your bloodline. If they're in your bloodline, they are present in your DNA from the time you were born, and their genetic code is already activated. Bloodline reptilians are more difficult to deal with. Yes, they're a little bit harder to remove, but the bigger issue is that if you have the bloodline, you don't know what it's like not to have this gang of entities inside you carrying on a 24/7 block party. You never noticed a difference when they arrived or when they entered you, because they were always in you. You have no idea what life is like without them, what it's like to be just you. Sure, you have your own mind, your own self or psyche, but it's competing with maybe 2 or 3 demons, 3 reptilians, and a discarded or 2. That's why Carl had such a difficult time, even after the reptilians and all the other entities and attachments were removed. Some of them had always been in him. That was his status quo. Although he certainly wasn't happy about the situation, having them was a part of his identity. How could it have been any other way? The reptilians can follow either the maternal bloodline or the paternal bloodline, or even both. I'm not 100% certain how they get into the bloodline, but I do know that when people have the bloodline, their lives are much more challenging, both before and after the reptilians are removed. I believe that nearly everyone on this planet actually has some reptilian genetic material as part of their DNA, but unless you have the bloodline, that genetic material or genetic code remains dormant until it's activated. If you have reptilians in you, the reptilian genetic code has been activated. I don't know whether they activate the genetic code first and then go in, or go in and then activate it. The genetic code can also get activated under conditions of extreme stress and trauma, such as physical or mental abuse. While all of these different entities are destructive by nature, not all of them are messing around with you at the chromosome level. And not all of them have an organized agenda like the reptilians have. The reptilians are not only organized and controlled, they're intent on taking you over and using you as they see fit in order to fulfill their agenda. The reptilians don't care about you personally, or what you want, or care about, or aspire to. You're nothing but a tool or slave to them. If you listen to them long enough, you may start buying into what they're trying to get you to do and you to believe. You may forget who you really are and everything that's important and meaningful to you. Turning to the Arcturians. It may get to the point where it seems easier to stop trying to fight them and to simply get in. But that's the worst thing you could possibly do. You don't want to give in to them. Once you've made that decision, once you've consciously accepted them, it's much, much harder to remove them. You won't need just one session, you'll need a lot of sessions, because as soon as we try to remove them, they will start pulling out all of the stops. So whatever you do, don't give up or give in to the reptilians. You have an alternative. The Arcturians will help you. I can't say this too many times. If you want to be free of reptilians, it's absolutely essential that you develop and maintain a personal connection with the Arcturians. Jesus isn't going to remove the reptilians. Archangel Michael isn't going to do it. The rest of the archangels and the ascended masters aren't going to do it. The Palladians and others will assist and help provide protection, but it's the Arcturians who remove and keep the reptilians at bay. And as I've also said many times, they work through me and through other people who have been trained, but they are the ones actually doing the work. When the Arcturians remove the reptilians, those individual reptilians are gone for good. They go to the light, and they don't come back. The Arcturians take them up and out right through your crown chakra, one after another. As it's happening, the reptilians don't seem to understand they're goners, because nothing has bothered them for millions of years. I've never seen anyone pick up reptilians again after they've been removed. It just doesn't happen. But that doesn't mean reptilians can't still get to you and cause you all kinds of trouble from the periphery. I assure you, they do not give up easily. They've enlisted many demons to carry out their orders. So even though they may not be able to get back into you after they've been removed, they can send in demons to do their dirty work. First they fight to hang on, and then they fight to try to regain whatever or whoever they've lost. Eggs, not seeds. One of their last-ditch efforts to keep their tentacles or hooks in you is to leave eggs behind, as the Arcturians are whisking them away. When we first saw this happening with Carl and several other people, we weren't exactly sure what it was we were seeing. Were they seeds? Finally, one of the psychics got it. They're not seeds, they're eggs. The reptilians leave eggs behind, which makes sense. Clearing out all those eggs is a crucial part of the cleanup process. They all have to go. Any that are left behind will allow the reptilians to be reborn inside you. As long as we ask the Arcturians to remove them, the eggs are easy to clean up. The Arcturians can suck them right up as if they were wielding some kind of a cosmic vacuum cleaner. If the reptilians are in you, you will have an etheric homing device or chip in your DNA that needs to be disabled. If the homing device is present, it's already been activated. And even after the reptilians have been removed, it acts like an energetic or etheric cord connecting you to, I don't know where, reptilian headquarters? Once they begin the process, it takes the Arcturians 3 weeks to disable the homing device and reconfigure your genetic code and your DNA. Removing the reptilians does not immediately remove the energetic cord connecting you to the reptilians, so you will still be under their control to some extent. The reptilians will continue to harass and interfere with you as much as they can during that 3-week period. By reconfiguring your DNA, the Arcturians very lovingly create the opportunity for you to reprogram yourself. They remove the negative influence of the reptilians, and they give you some breathing room. They make it possible for you to do the work you need to do. But unless you do that work and reprogram yourself, develop some positive connections for positive influences, you're likely to stay stuck in the same old negative and self-destructive patterns as the reptilians taught you. Lifting yourself up. Possession affects you on every level: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Reprogramming yourself after you've had reptilians or other entities affecting your thinking is no different than the reprogramming you would need to do if you had a drug or alcohol addiction. Even if you stop using the drug, the thinking patterns that were a part of your drug use most likely have created a few problems in your life that won't clear up by themselves. You'll need to identify the problem areas in your life and come up with ways to address and solve them. You'll also need to monitor your thinking patterns and learn how to change negative thinking into positive thinking. If you need help, don't be afraid to seek it out and use it. You may have tried numerous times to do these things before, but felt blocked, and that may have left you feeling frustrated and incapable. Now that the reptilians are no longer blocking you, you have much greater freedom and control. Take advantage of it. It's all too easy to relapse back to drug and alcohol use if you don't change your thinking and deal with your problems. The same is true with possession. If you continue your old thinking patterns and don't do your work, you create a fertile ground for demons, discarnates, and attachments to get back into you, and for reptilians to attack and harass you. If you aren't paying attention, there are all kinds of ways you may unwittingly lay out the welcome mat for these entities and open yourself up to more trouble from them. Without exception, everyone who has had any of these entities, especially reptilians, initially has a very low vibrational frequency. When you've had all that mind chatter going on and your vibrational frequency is bottoming out, it's almost impossible to slow down and quiet your mind. People complain about this to me all the time. I can't meditate, not even for 30 seconds. They may have taken meditation classes and tried all sorts of techniques, but they simply could not do it. It's hard to gain perspective on your life when you can't sit still for a few minutes. And it's very difficult to have a connection with Source when you have no connection with yourself. You need to take the time, put in the effort, and make it a priority to do your reprogramming. You can learn how to raise your vibrational frequency in the next chapter, but you have to do it. No one else can do it for you. Remember that none of this is going to happen overnight. Depending on how long you've had reptilians and whether or not you have the bloodline, it could take a moderate amount of time and effort, or it could take a great deal of time and effort to reprogram yourself. Having entities removed is an opportunity, just like winning the lottery is an opportunity. How many people are convinced winning the lottery would solve all their problems? And how many people who do win the lottery end up no better off than they were before because they didn't use the opportunity wisely? It's up to you to make good use of the opportunities you're presented with. Removal alone is not the silver bullet many people are hoping to find. Closing all portals. Even after the reptilians are no longer in you, and the eggs have been removed and the homing device disabled, they can still harangue and annoy you if there are open portals near you. There are portals throughout the entire universe that extraterrestrials use for interdimensional travel, but the ones we're concerned with here are the vast network of underground portals and caverns or bases the reptilians have created on and in Earth and in which they live. The reptilians travel through these portals, which have points of entry and exit inside buildings. These portal openings allow the reptilians to come and go freely, so they can annoy and harass you and maybe your family too, and create a lot of dark, chaotic energy within your home or workplace. About half the people I've seen who have reptilians also have one or more portals somewhere nearby. So when we're clearing out the reptilians, we always try to make certain there are no open portals they can use, especially in living and workspaces. The Arcturians don't simply close off a portal immediately. If they did that, the reptilians that are down there would just find another access route. Instead, the Arcturians first send a shaft of light, a vortex of light, into that portal and follow the portal down as far as it goes, which could be a short distance or all the way into the center of the Earth. This is the same shaft of light they use when they're removing the reptilians from you, but in that case, it's a very gentle and loving shaft of light. When they're creating a vortex and sending the light down into a portal, it's an active, energetic, swirling shaft of light. It's not a little ray or beam of sunshine. Think of the energy a tornado has. It's that kind of energy. It's that powerful. It sucks up whatever is down there and pulls it out. The Arcturians remove every single reptilian from that portal. They neutralize them. It's as if they're stunned. Depending on how deep the portal is, the Arcturians may keep that vortex going for a few hours, or for several days, or even weeks. Only after all the reptilians are gone do they finally close the portal and seal it up. In some cases, I've found portals inside people. These are extremely tiny portals called pinprick portals that are actually openings in the auric shield. But the reptilians don't need these pinprick portals to get into people. It's usually demons or sometimes attachments that use them. Still, we want to close off the pinprick portals too, so that nothing has easy access to you. Once the Arcturians have finished their work, which is really the first part of the healing process, you are in a position to continue the healing yourself by developing good habits to protect yourself. The single most important thing you can do in that regard is connect with the Arcturians. Not just once, but regularly, consistently. Maintain your connection with them. Keep calling on them. If you don't do it, the reptilians will still be able to interfere in your life by harassing you from the periphery. They will put up a shield or force field similar to the one they put around themselves and the demons that were inside you. The shield can't be penetrated without the assistance of the Arcturians. So the reptilians can conceal themselves from anyone who doesn't call on the Arcturians. Accepting the Arcturian download. If it feels right to you, call the Arcturians in and ask for and accept their download. It isn't painful. In fact, for most people, it's very calm, loving, and a peaceful experience. But you may not feel anything at all. It only takes a few seconds, and it puts you on their radar screen. At the time that I wrote this book, I didn't fully understand how all of that worked, but I knew there was some kind of an energetic exchange that took place between you and the Arcturians. I knew that it helped them protect you, and it helped them and you communicate with each other. But since this book was written, I've received much more information about the Arcturian download. It's actually a permanent soul imprint, a stamp on your soul that is a permanent protection from reptilians in any future incarnation forever. This is why I can't give it to you. I can't go to anybody else and give it to anybody else. Nobody else can. You have to ask for it. And so to receive more information about that, please go to my website, waynebrewer.net, and get on the members page. You will find an article in there about the Arcturian download that gives you much, much more information than is presented here in the book. I used to find it a bit disconcerting that we had to keep asking them for help and protection. Why can't we just ask once and be done with it? But no form of psychic or spiritual protection works that way. Think of it as developing good psychic habits to take care of your spiritual self the same way you develop good exercise and eating habits to take care of your physical self. The Arcturians are very good, very powerful, extreme protectors. They want to help you, but they can't unless you ask. Reptilians and demons don't care what you want. They'll violate your free will and put thoughts into your head that aren't yours. The Arcturians will never do anything like that. They are karmic beings, as we are, and they honor the universal laws. The battle between the darkness and the light. As I said in Chapter 4, I don't believe any more reptilians are coming here, but they do continue to breed on this planet. I suppose a few may still be flying around out there in space trying to get past the starship Athena to get to us here on Earth. The Arcturians have talked about several races of malevolent extraterrestrials that tried to take them on all at the same time, since they knew they wouldn't be able to do it individually. They tried to destroy the starship Athena, but that failed, so I doubt many of them even attempted anymore. Right now, the Arcturians and other positive, loving extraterrestrials are continuing to block a lot of different dark force extraterrestrials from coming here. The reptilians already here are doing everything they can to destroy us. They want to keep us in this third dimensional density where we're bombarded with negativity and constantly forced to fight them off and fight off all these other things. Demons, discarnates, cords, attachments, and everything else, including ourselves. They want to keep our vibrational frequency as low as possible. The Arcturians, on the other hand, are doing everything within their power to neutralize the reptilians and to assist us in raising our vibrational frequency. The Arcturians are able to see so much more than we can see. They don't have the limitations we third-dimensional humans do. And they've been around for so much longer that their perspective is broader than ours could ever be. If you call on these loving and benevolent, yet extremely intelligent and powerful beings, they can keep the reptilians away and keep you free from their control. But you have to want their help. You have to ask for it. You have to choose to use it.